What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Bring the Thunder podcast. I'm here with Thunder Talk Sat Veer. Thunder win 145 to 111 in Utah. Improved to 67-14 on the season with one game to go, I believe. And yeah, I mean, it was just a beatdown. It was nice to see Wiggins with 35. He's looking back to form. I mentioned that a few episodes in a row now. He's starting to come along. He had, injury, sickness, and he had a few bad games, but he's coming back. Isaiah Joe, 10 threes, 10 for 14 from three, 32 points. That's great to see going into playoffs. And J Will with his third triple-double of the season. And a huge shout out to Adam Flagler. 17 points today off the bench, 6 of 13, 4 threes. Always nice to see Flagler go nuts when he gets in. And yeah, Hotspot Casino, you are right. Last but not least at all, AJ Mitchell back, 9 points, 5 assists in only 18 minutes. Looked good towards the end of the game. Super excited to have him back.
Yeah, I'm happy about how this game went. This is our win number 67, which is seventh most in NBA history, which is crazy. And we're only going to move up this list if we win the next game as well. And then this, I believe, is our 53rd double-digit win. Obviously, we broke the record with the 51 games, but the fact that that lead also keeps growing is ridiculous. We're in firm control of the highest point differential in NBA history. This is, I mean, we're breaking some long-standing records that date back to like the 1970s. So what we're doing right now is nothing short of impressive. And then we're also, getting closer to our net rating that we needed. So it's crazy that we're doing that with our bench unit. I was thinking about that watching the game. It's like we're facing the worst team pretty much in the NBA, and then our bench unit is easily, handling them. So it seems like we have a pretty, like, even without SGA, we'd be close to like a 500 team, which is super impressive. And that shows you how much SGA's value is when he does play, that he has that much of a win lift. I feel like he's very similar to Russell Westbrook in that regard, where, if you have a 500 team, these guys can pull you up in wins. And in the case of Shea, he can, bring you even further than what Russ did. And obviously Russ didn't have the same type of roster that we have right now, but it's still impressive that they kind of draw parallels as guards, being people that can attack the rim and things like that. But let's go back to focusing on the game. I know you mentioned some of these stat lines, but this is J. Will's third game in a row where he started and he's gotten a triple-double. You can pretty much slot him in for a triple-double as long as he's starting. I thought the stat line was going to be closer to 15, 15, and 15, but I mean, he pretty much got there. He could have had more minutes easily. I feel like he's another player that can get to 20, 20, and 20, and we haven't seen something done like that since Russell Westbrook. To have this type of guy on our bench that you can play spot minutes for, and then he can immediately make a difference. Aaron Wiggins, he can just score at will. He does not need to do an extra pass, and there's very rare amount of NBA talent that you can say that about. Like, even though he's right up there with a guy like MPJ, where he doesn't need to make an extra pass. That guy's, every time he receives it, he's going for a shot. And I feel like Wiggins is kind of falling into that category, and they're paying MPJ over on the Nuggets way more than we are for Wiggins on our roster. So the fact that we can kind of even draw parallels in that type of player coming off the bench, I feel like that's the best type of role for guys like that. And I mean, he fits perfectly as like a sixth man option. The rest of the team is just impressive. K Rich is always really consistent. Isaiah Joe, he's started to pick things up. I feel like to start the season, he's kind of known to be a little bit more streaky, but I feel like the place that he's made more of the strides is defensively. And then going to the rack, I mean, he's starting to diversify his game, and that's really huge for us. The more he can, get buckets outside of just shooting threes, the more value he'll provide on the court. Glad to see AJ's back. 5 assists. I mean, he makes assists look so easy. He's the perfect guy to come off the bench, and if you need him to play maybe 8 minutes in the playoffs, 10 minutes in the playoffs total, it may not feel like a lot, but when you have a guy that's that level of a passer and can kind of control the game. I can see him coming in for Shea in the second quarters of playoff games. And
Right.
to say that about a rookie is unheard of, right?
Yeah,
Like
he's incredible. He's
we don't even
incredible.
get any run. So the fact that he can even get run or consider to get run, I feel like that'll be amazing. Brandon Carlson, great when it comes to shot blocking. He's way more athletic than you would think just by looking at him. I mean, he's a fantastic shooter, spacer, but the fact that we have bench guys that kind of parallel the exact type of starting lineup, and then they're kind of like, obviously one step in terms of skill below those guys, but the fact that we kind of have a similar bench unit to our starting unit, and it doesn't seem like there's much of a difference between them in terms of skill sets. That's I've not seen that in any NBA team, and I've been watching for a long time. I can't even think back to teams even before the 2000s that were built in that way, where your whole bench unit has similar skill sets or can kind of provide the types of things that ours can. I literally can't think of any other in history.
Yeah, to carry off that, like I'm super excited for these last 3 games, especially because this bench looks like it's finally rounding out. We're gonna get some more minutes for AJ for sure. I mean, he's just super good at basketball, an incredible luxury to have for OKC. Kind of forgot about him, honestly, because he's been out so long. But this guy could get to the rim. He could shoot the 3 ball. Like you said, great at getting assists. Like he makes them look easy, like you said. So very nice to have him back. But yeah, Aaron Wiggins looking like he's going to be scoring again for us is huge. Jay Will, whenever he comes in, he's great. 15, 10, 11. What they alley-oop to himself tonight. Really rounding out this bench getting into the playoffs is super exciting. It's super exciting because if there were to be an off night, I know that this bench could come in and just turn it up. Not to mention, there's no Alex Caruso tonight. There's no Casey Wallace tonight, who could be off the bench, could be starting. I prefer starting, but we'll see. And then, if Hartenstein's coming off the bench as well, I mean, this is the most loaded bench in the NBA, and it's going to be extremely important that they play well, and especially in the first couple games of the playoffs, just to get going.
Yeah, I kind of have way more faith in this roster. Like everyone has such confidence, and that's really bolstered by Shea and kind of what we did all year long to get to this point. I don't know. Last year, I think the whole fan base kind of knew there was gaps from the starting lineup into the bench. Right now, like I don't know what analysts are seeing when they're analyzing the Thunder, where they say like, oh, there could be some experience gaps or bench unit gaps or whatever. I honestly just don't see any of that. Like, I don't know if
the thing
that's
is, with
biased
the people who, no, it's not biased. The people who say that, one, they don't analyze at all. They don't watch the games, and it shows because this bench has grown significantly over this season and over since last playoffs. Last playoffs, we had to throw Wiggins in a few times in that Dallas series, and he looked lost. This year, he's been absolutely incredible all season long. He had a few rough patches, but his growth, Isaiah Joe's growth, he started off cold, has been rock solid ever since. Casey Wallace's growth, unbelievable player, looking like a starting caliber player for mostly every team in the NBA. And then you throw in Alex Caruso, who doesn't get his flowers, and you add Hartenstein. The people who are saying that are not analyzing and they are not watching the games. And then you have Jay Willis, of course, and Kenny Hustle, who's always consistent for us, Mr. Consistent. So whoever says that is absolutely wrong. And it'll show in this playoffs when our starters do come out and we either maintain leads or we take it up another notch and keep growing the lead. So, like I said, this bench is for real. Definitely, I think, the best bench in the league by far. Super solid everywhere. They got shooters, Wiggins and Joe, and they got defenders with Caruso and maybe Wallace and Hartenstein. And, man, I mean, just guys you could plug in at any time. If you need a matchup, Jay Will in the Denver games looked incredible. If you need Kenny Hustle to come in and try to guard LeBron for a few plays here, there for a few minutes, he's going to go do that. Maybe he won't succeed, but he's going to try, and he's going to try his tail off, and he does well in those spot minutes. So, I mean, super excited, ready for these playoffs to get started. I know we have one more game, but unless Actually, I want to get to one of these comments. Hotspot Casino, man, you are awesome. Thanks for all these comments. Welcome back to the show. I did want to put this one up. His favorite bench lineup is Wiggins, Caruso, Wallace, J-Dub, Chet. I think that's awesome. Like in that second grouping. I like to throw like Isaiah Joe in there if you like it depends on the matchup, obviously, but that's an incredible second grouping. I mean, just look at it. You got J-Dub and Chet. We know what they are. Caruso and Wallace are just absolute clamps on the wing, and then you got Wiggins. If he's feeling like Aaron Wiggins that night, it's gonna be a long night for opposing benches in second group. So,
I think the thing that I was trying to
get over this bench, man.
Yeah, I think the thing that I was trying to get across to everyone watching is every time we've all set expectations for this team, they've kind of just blown through all expectations. And now that they've been this consistent this long, it's just so hard to agree with anyone saying anything else but what we've seen as fans. Like when every other fan base or anyone else is talking about the Thunder and they haven't watched enough or whatever, it just makes them look so silly. Like when I hear, people on ESPN or wherever else, right, like talk about our team and they haven't seen maybe more than 10, 20 games. That's all it really takes is to see 10, 20 games of this team play this consistently to say, okay, they are what they have shown to be.
Right.
And that's what I'm most excited about the playoffs is it's going to expose a lot of people, that call themselves basketball analysts. And then they're going to watch this team be as consistent as they have been. Cause I just can't see, them dropping off in any type of way, right? Like they've done this for an 82 game season, and that's so rare to be on the court for that long. And then to provide like this much data and analytics around this team, like we have enough stats and on top of that eye test to say like, okay, this is who these guys are.
Right.
And it's so hard to say like, oh, we're not going to see that in the playoffs, right? Like that's what makes it so exciting that we actually get to, have that faith and that hope. And that's what every fan base like wants to look at. To address one of the comments real quick. So yes, we're going to talk a little bit about seeding since we talked about the game mainly. So right now the Lakers are locked in to the 3 seed. The Rockets are pretty much locked in to the 2 seed. So the top 3 seeding is pretty much locked in. As long as I believe the Clippers win out, they should lock in at the 4 seed. And as long as the Nuggets win their next game, should lock in at the 5 seed.
I think it's vice versa.
Well, either way, they'll be facing each other.
That'll be the 4-5 most likely. Yeah,
that'll be the 4-5 regardless. And then at the 6th spot, most likely, it's looking like it'll probably be Golden State against the Lakers. And if I'm not getting this mistaken here, it should be the 7-8 matchup of Minnesota and the Grizzlies. That's what it's looking like. It's between Grizzlies and the Golden State
Warriors and Timberwolves.
And the Wolves pretty much fighting for who's going to be in the 7, 8, and 6 spot. So those are kind of the spots that are still kind of up for grabs with these last couple of games. So
yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's really looking like the Thunder, as long as the Grizzlies don't lose to the Mavericks, which I could see that happening. It's looking like the Grizzlies will end up being their first round matchup, which is odd because we weren't expecting this at all. What a fall off. Fire your head coach. You see what happens. But yeah, I'm rooting for that Lakers Warriors first round matchup. Just to get one of those teams out of the way would be such a blessing and such an exciting series as an NBA fan in general. And then, yeah, we get the Grizzlies who we've dominated all season long. You get a cool matchup of probably Houston and Minnesota, which is super fun as an NBA fan as well. You got Houston surging. They're a great defensive team. And, you got Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and all the guys over there in Minnesota. So it's shaping out to be an exciting first round. These aren't locked in yet, just saying. But I am rooting. I have to say I am rooting to play the Grizzlies just because we match up with them so well and we dominated them all season long. Yeah, it's going to be interesting next couple of days, and then the play-in, and I just can't wait to see it all unfold. One thing about tonight, just wanted to mention one more time before we keep talking about the seeding. I don't have the average of the 3 games that like all of our team didn't play, but I'm pretty sure we've scored over 120 every single time. Like a team of
Yeah.
Aaron Wiggins, Jay Will, Isaiah Joe, and the rest of the guys scored 145 points tonight. I don't care that they were playing the Jazz. Like I understand, but you know how incredible that is. Like teams don't do that, man. They don't do that. And I've been so hard on this team all season long because I expect greatness, and they've been great. They've shut me up all season long, so I got nothing to say.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the point differential between the bench guys has been almost as good as, if not better, than the point differential as the starting guys. That's kind of drawing the same parallels that I was talking about earlier. Just how crazy our bench and starting units are together, apart, whatever. Like
Right.
we have just so much talent. Period. That's what it is. We just have so much talent that it's so hard to comprehend sometimes. Like even when we're hard on these guys, it's like they still surpass some of our biggest maybe fears or whatever about this team, where we're like, man, maybe they'll do this, maybe they'll do that. And it's like, no, man, they've exactly told us what they are, who they are, and what they're going to be. And that's kind of the best thing about this. Going back to the seeding, I'm looking at this. So the next crucial game that Thunder fans should be looking out for is tomorrow night is going to be tomorrow at 3:30. The Clippers play the Warriors. That's going to determine a lot of things in terms of whether the Warriors slip into the 7-8 spot, or we're going to see the Wolves at that 7-8 spot. I believe the Grizzlies are pretty much locked in, so that shouldn't be much of a issue, whether they're the 7 or 8 spots. So that's going to be the big game. If the Clippers can hold out and win that one, they'll secure their seeding at the 4-5, and the Warriors will probably drop down to the 7-8 spot, which would be horrible as a Thunder fan.
Bro, that would be okay because I believe that they would end up being the 7 seed.
Yeah.
Either way, we could take them on. That's fine. I don't love the first round matchup, but can you believe the NBA season is over tomorrow? The regular season is over tomorrow. How quickly this flew by. I mean, we started this podcast in January, I believe, and we're here on tomorrow's April 13th. Unbelievable. And just incredible that I can probably count on my fingers the amount of losses we've had since we started this podcast. 14 losses total. Hopefully we end with 68 wins. Would be incredible. It looks like we will after what happened to the Pelicans tonight. Blown out by Miami. I think 49 they got blown out by. But yeah, man. I guess like to wrap this up, we could talk about like ideal first round matchup. I think we're gonna agree it's Memphis. I'd actually honestly rather see Memphis than I'd rather than Dallas. Just because of it, just because of AD alone. Like dude almost had a quadruple double tonight. So it's looking like Memphis, and I'm feeling really confident with that.
Yeah. That's another great point. Like Memphis, or the Mavericks aren't out of it either. So it's like we really won't know who our 8 spot, like who that'll actually feature, because that could literally be any of those guys. Like whoever has a good one game type of situations, it's all up in the air. So even the 7-8 matchup, like we're just gonna have to really wait it out. Even when that matchup, like once we know who it is, we can say maybe the Grizzlies could lose to the either Minnesota or Golden State, but we really won't know until it happens. And that's a crazy thing about the play-in tournament is you really just don't know. You have to watch a lot of the last couple of weeks, last couple of games, which hasn't been the case in the past. So kudos to, the NBA for implementing it. The other thing I wanted to mention as we were kind of reminiscing about starting this podcast is we've started at the perfect time. This is the best NBA regular season I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, this has been, drama filled. The West has been crazy. We haven't seen a season like this maybe since like 2016-17. I recall back then there was a lot of moving parts on the West side, and man, we're lucky to be covering this and then going into the playoffs. I think it's going to be even wilder.
Oh man, it's going to be so much fun. Hopefully. But either way, it will be. We really enjoy doing this. I hope you guys enjoy watching us. And just one more thing about the seeding before we head out of here. Right now, as it stands, OKC will be playing the winner of Denver and LA Clippers. I prefer that as well. I don't think we can get much better than that. I know Denver's great, but Denver fired their head coach, and I think it'd be a perfect time to play them. I love Mike Malone. I think letting him go is ridiculous. So it's set up for a Western Conference final. As of right now, as it stands, it really is. And we will be following the whole journey. But other than that, Xavier, unless you got anything else, I think we could wrap it up.
Yeah, man. I say we wrap it up and see who our next opponent is, and we'll cover obviously the last game of the season as well. But I appreciate everyone for joining on.
Yeah, guys, and if you're enjoying our content, we just posted an awesome interview yesterday. It's up on YouTube with the UNC basketball NCAA national champion legend Mike Copeland. Great interview, great guy, really fun talking to him. A lot of insightful stuff. We also talked about his thoughts on OKC and the rest of the NBA. So go check that out. Like I said, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Really appreciate that. And without further ado, I'm gonna leave it to Xavier tonight because I'm feeling good.
Oh man, nah, you gotta roll us out, man. You've been doing this. You got it,
man. All right, thunder up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.